So, welcome everybody, this is gonna be a 2v2 matchup between Taro and Doubt facing Melkor and Fëanor. We're gonna have Taro in Chinese in blue to the north, right side will be Doubt as Franks in green, to the south we'll have Fëanor as Byzantines in yellow, and to the left we will have Melkor as Vikings in red. So, very strong civilizations basically for all players. Curious to see what Taro is gonna be able to do with Chinese. It's an overall very strong save to have. Also, Franks can be quite strong. Doubt looks like he's always playing with Franks. I'm almost certain that this is intentional and he's not playing with random save. There is just no way that he's playing 3 Franks after each other. So this could be something different than a random save pick. So, take a look at the bases. Taro will have a beautiful back gold for him, beautiful backstone. This is just a great situation for a Chinese player to be at. Not a great wood access though for him. Also his secondary goal is quite at the front, that's not a huge issue, but wood can definitely be a problem for him as well as the fact that he's kind of open from the right side. So eventually this might not turn out to be that good for him, but at least he has the key resources safe, so that's something worth noting. Meanwhile, on the other side, we're gonna have Doubt. His primary stone is kind of unfortunate, but, well, acceptable, I would say. Has some decent backwood. His primary stone, primary goal is also at the back, so this is a beautiful basis there from Doubt. Looks like neither of the players is actually going for a lane so far. Yeah, they're all just looking around the bases. Looks like Doubt is doing some aggressive scouting. What is he planning? He's just looking around his base as well, I'm pretty sure. We'll see. Now, taking a look at the base of Fëanor, he's gonna have his primary gold kind of at the back, but still a little bit exposed, so I'm not a huge fan of this gold location over here. And finally, we're gonna have Melkor with Vikings. That's a beautiful back gold for Vikings. For Vikings, you really need gold for your units, so eventually that's a beautiful spot for that. Doesn't look like he's gonna have any good stone supplies. Yeah, stone is disastrous for him. Absolutely horrible. Just the front stone kind of far away from his TC. He has one at the back, but that's also quite horrible. So eventually stone might be an issue for Melkor later on. But most of the players have safe resources for this setup, which is going to be quite important as we head forward. Looks like all the players just doing some scouting around their bases so far. So, what I could expect from strategies, I believe that Taro will most likely open up with archers of his own, possibly with 3 militias. He usually goes for that. Look, okay, is it gonna be pause? Kind of feels like it. So he usually opens up with 3 militias, which could be the same over here, and then transition to archers with Chinese would be reasonable. On the other side, Doubt with Franks, I am pretty sure he's gonna go for scouts and then knights. That will be the way to go for him. On the other side, Fëanor as Byzantines is kind of a mystery to me. He could go in either direction. I feel like he could go for... Well, it's kind of tough. Going directly to skirms isn't really worth it, although yet again, with Byzantines it's so cheap that you could actually try that. You could actually try that, especially if you know that you're facing Chinese, because you know that you're gonna have some archers to face against, so eventually he might decide to go directly to spears and skirms. That would be a little bit reasonable in this setup. It's not a great unit composition, let's state that, that's true, but yet again, it's just enough to counter both the unit composition from Taro and the one from Doubt. So eventually, spears and skirms would be quite efficient here for Byzantines, if I had to tell. And finally, for Melkor, I am almost certain that he's gonna go for archers and then crossbows with Vikings, or he could go for scouts as well and the knights, but I feel like archers will be the way to go for him. Possibly he could go for archers, and eventually Fëanor could decide to go for scouts if he wants to. We'll see about that very soon, as Melkor and Doubt will be the first one to click up the feudal at the identical moment in the game. Clicking up at 21 wheels. Wait a second, that's something... Okay, it's just the Chinese bonus. I was scared for a second over there because Taro had way more villagers than Melkor. But eventually it was just the fact of that he has the Chinese bonus. So eventually it looks like Taro is going to be quite late to feudal. He might even... Okay, it's just a later feudal to click up at 23 villagers, but doesn't look like he's going to fast castle. But definitely going later into feudal. Now let's see. Looks like no barracks for either player. from Secret so far. On the other side already, oh, this could be a forward. I'm pretty sure Fino is gonna try something similar than what we've seen from Daniel, going forward with the trash spam. That could work. I feel like it could work, as Daud's gonna go up with his barracks, or the barracks up for Makor, as he's gonna open up with 3 militias. I think that those could eventually turn out to be man-at-arms by the time he arrives to Taro's base, but it's gonna be up to him to decide if he wants to upgrade those. Looks like this could be a decent forward there from Fëanor. I'm not exactly sure if Daud spotted that. He could have spotted the villagers arriving. Let's see. He's not gonna be able to spot the building anytime soon, so eventually barracks coming up for Fëanor. I like the position because you are gonna be able to resupply your spearmen quite early on as the militias arrive. From Makor, he's gonna go with the man-at-arms upgrade, and Taro doesn't actually have anything to fight against this one with, so this could be a bad situation for him, as Taro might actually lose his scout to the TC fire. That's gonna be very close. Eventually, he's gonna escape, but yet again, that could be a potentially good villager pick. Looks like Makor is gonna try and use the villager to, or use the scout to block the villager. It's gonna be very close. It's gonna be very close. The TC will save that villager. Almost perfect micro there from Makor. At least he forced some idle time, but here comes the double arch ranges from Taro. It's not gonna be part of any walls, so not the greatest placement, but he was definitely forced to drop them down quite early on because the man-at-arms were already roaming around his base. He's not gonna be able to hurt the wood or gold eco of Taro there, so eventually he's just gonna be fine. Looks like it's gonna be the first tower going up from Fëanor. Doubt. Does he have any idea what's going on? Doesn't look like it. He might actually see the spearman. That lonely spearman won't be able to do that much damage though. Let's see if anything else will arrive. Doesn't look like it. Is he gonna just play this with 4 spears? Now that would be awkward. Let's see. Doesn't look like he's on stone either. This is just gonna be 1 tower and then spearman. Now that's interesting because in theory villagers can do decent fights against those spears. Well, those Frankish scouts will be kind of bad against the spearmen. Eventually, I think decent amount of Frankish scouts can overwhelm those spears quite well. Eventually, that archange will be delayed by the raid of Makor over here. So Makor doing some early pressure, definitely going very, very aggressive over here with the double archanges going forward. He really wants to kill that villager. Over there. Looks like Taro is gonna go for his own arches, and let's see what Fëanor is doing. Fëanor with the archer range. This has to be skirms because he's not on gold as I saw. Yeah, this has to be skirms, and eventually he's not even a stone, so he can drop additional towers. That's quite unfortunate for him. Looks like this is gonna be some archers from Taro. Taro without. Yeah, he's without the blacksmith so far, so he won't have fletching for some time. Let's see if Makor is gonna go for that. Makor will mix in some skirms to fight against the archers of Taro, and he's gonna go for his own blacksmith, which will mean that he's gonna have fletching quite soon. On the other side, we're gonna have a scout trade coming up from Daud. That's a good approach. So eventually all the military of Fëanor is at the front line, so the best thing that Daud can do is just fall back to the base of Fëanor. Look at that, Fëanor has no military production buildings over here, Fëanor has no units over here, so all Daud needs to do is just raid on the villagers, and if Fëanor can't quick wall this one, then that could be a lot of lost villagers. So that's exactly what we'll have to observe. No, Daud, not that way. He actually revealed his attack. I mean, look at the lumberjacks all open. And it's gonna be very close. I think that wasn't a good move. That wasn't a good move from Daud because he actually revealed, or just basically alerted Fëanor that he's actually arriving with his scouts. It's gonna be close though. It's gonna be very close on the wood line. Just finishing the wall is Fëanor. It's gonna be extremely important for him because now all his eco is basically safe, which will mean that Daud will have to fight this somewhere around his base. Looks like he's gonna go for more stone. That's smart thinking over there. What we're gonna see is more towers. Looks like Fëanor lost basically all his military under the tower over here from Daud. Meanwhile, we're gonna have a decent push from Makor inside the base of Taro. Makor already with fletching, same applies for Taro. So far, better military numbers from Taro should mean that he's gonna be able to repel this attack at least to some point. Still, it's mostly skirms from Makor, so it's gonna be quite close. It's gonna be quite close. Archer armor coming up for Makor. He's gonna be committed towards going for more archers, and this is what could work. Without sending a few scouts towards the base of Taro, he should be able to pick off some villagers. Yeah, that is smart. That is very smart. 2 villagers or 2 scouts going from the north, rest coming from the south, so he could definitely do some serious damage towards the base of Makor. Meanwhile, looks like Makor is still trying to harass the lumberjacks. It's not gonna have a huge impact on the eco of Taro for now, but yet again, doubts, oh, doubt scouts, that could be a lot of lost villagers. That could be a lot of lost villagers there. Melkor, that's not a great fight. That's absolutely not a great fight. That's gonna be a lot of lost villagers. Jackpot found for Mr. Doubt. He's gonna kill half of the eco of Melkor. Look at the villager count increasing. Eventually, Doubt's gonna lose his scouts, but at what cost? What cost? That's not the way to fight this one. By the time that spear arrives, look at that. It's gonna be... I can't even count the dead villagers in this one. Absolutely worth it for Doubt, as Melkor is down to 28 villagers. He's behind in military count compared to Taro, so Taro should be able to repel this push over here. Meanwhile, though, quite aggressive push there from Fëanor, as we're gonna see the forward blacksmiths coming up for him. He still doesn't have fletching, he's just going for his own blacksmiths. His eco is kind of safe, but he can actually pressure Doubt at this point. Meanwhile, his teammate is basically completely crippled. If you just take a look at his eco, so absolutely beautiful raid there by Taro, or well, it was actually Doubt going with the raid. Just beautiful. And I just questioned the idea of Melkor actually using the villagers to fight that one. So he could have fallen back to the TC at the price of like 1 or 2 potentially lost villagers. He lost like 5 or 6 villagers in that engagement. That was absolutely horrible for him. Let's see if Fëanor's gonna drop another tower. Doesn't look like it. He has 1. Okay, he has 2. He could potentially try and tower. It's kind of tough. This tower basically blocks down his possibilities to tower the stone, so he's unable to do that. And basically there is nothing that he could tower. That is absolutely a good spot for Doubt. Doubt has all the resources safe, and he's eventually forced to actually deal with this over here. So he's just fine. He has stone, he has wood, he has gold. Doubt is just completely fine. Looks like Taro will move directly towards the base of Fëanor. They know that Fëanor has all his military at the front, so the best thing they can do is just hit his base. Yet again, on the other side, Fëanor, realizing that he can't do any major damage on Doubt's base, he's gonna move on with the trash units directly to Taro's base. Now, what could Taro do against this one? That's quite a number of skirmishers at this disposal, but yet again, he's getting pressured from the left by Melkor as well. That is gonna be very close as well. Looks like eventually... Fëanor and Melkor could get some villager picks over there. Still, those skirms are kind of trash against those villagers, especially if you don't have fletching on those. But you can definitely force some idle time over there. But as you can see, way faster castlage time for both Team Secret players. I just feel like if they can't actually get any major value for these skirms and spears over here, then it's gonna be quite hopeless for Heresy to fight this one. Aggressive tower going up from Fëanor. I'm not exactly sure if it's ever gonna go up though. Heal advantage on the side of Fëanor, that's a good engagement for him. He needs to use the skirms to snipe down the villagers, trying to protect that tower. But yet again, is this gonna be enough to protect that tower? I'm not exactly sure. I'm really not sure. Doubt bringing back his own scouts, trying to snipe off some of those skirmishers. Eventually the spear should be able to kill them. But yet again, Taro is gonna be able to clean up that tower, right? Look at that, 72% tower, but at just 200 HP. Eventually that tower will go down before it will actually complete, right? And look at the health, 99% but 50 HP. This is absolutely a dead tower. Eventually Fëanor will get repelled, and Doubt already up in castlage. Knights should drive. Here comes another raid from Taro, killing at least just one villager there from Fëanor, but Fëanor was forced to completely get inside his TC, as Melkor and Fëanor will call the GG. Absolutely beautiful play there by Taro, and Doubt, I just don't know. The idea was not bad from Fëanor, but if you go for full aggressive over here, you gotta at least wall yourself. I mean, it's not gonna work like this. What we actually observe is that basically Fëanor is walled from the right side, but left side is wide open. So eventually, once realizing that Fëanor has all his military production at the front, all Taro and Doubt needs to do is just run inside his base, because even if he can't kick wall himself, especially, they're gonna be able to force some idle time on that. And like once the archers of Taro arrive, it's basically over, because quick walls won't even protect those villagers. So yeah, that's what you can see over here. Just a TC full of villagers there from Fëanor, trying to protect what he can. Absolutely beautiful play there from Taro and Doubt. A little bit questionable, like I said, from Fëanor to go for a very aggressive forward military production here from Byzantines. It's understandable, but very risky, and the risk didn't pay off in this situation, as Secret will win the first match. Let's see if they're playing more. If not, So welcome everybody, we're gonna have Tado as Vikings in blue and Doubt as green in Turks, facing Melkor as Aztecs in red, and Fëanor in yellow as Teutons in a 2v2 matchup on Arabia. So last match was quite easily won, I would say, by Team Secret, but we've shown a very aggressive push there from Heresy. I'm curious to see if they're actually gonna continue with a very heavy aggressive push over there. Could imagine them going for that. So Teutons definitely have a decent possibility of towering their opponents, so eventually Fëanor might decide to go on a tower push again, but I'm not exactly sure if that's the right idea to go for. We'll see. Let's take a look at their bases early on. As Fëanor is going to have a front gold, that's not a great gold for him, and basically the only reasonable gold he could take. He could take this one as well, but it's kind of on a hill, also quite exposed from the left side, so that's not a great gold for him either. He has a lot of backstone, though that could be secured quite well. So eventually he has all the tools to go for a towering strategy here with Teutons. His teammate, Melkor, to the north, he's gonna have a decent-ish gold, at least he has some at the back. Not a great gold for him, I would say, but at least it's fairly well wallable, I would say. He will probably have access to it, although it's not the most favorable gold I've ever seen. Also, his base is kind of open from the south. He will need to do some very smart walling. What I could imagine is that he needs to wall from the forest, like somewhere to the middle, potentially under a TC. And maybe, just maybe, use this house as a starting point and wall between this house and the gold. That would be a reasonable spot to do the walls. Still not a great map, I would say, for Melkor and Fëanor. On the other side, Doubt has a beautiful back gold. Front stone, not so fortunate for him. It's kind of depending on the strategy, what he's going to go for. If he wants to go for Janissaries, then this stone is going to be essential for him. It kind of also depends, I believe, on what Melkor and Fëanor will do. If they go very aggressive on pushing that stone, then he might actually not go for the Janissaries. We'll talk about that in a second. He's also kind of exposed from the right side. That shouldn't mean that much of a trouble for him, I believe. As finally, we're going to have Tado with the Vikings. He's going to do some very early walling. He has a beautiful back gold. It's a little bit weird map generation. There's a missing tile over there. Still, this should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7,000 of primary gold for him. So eventually, he has a decent gold, I would say, for him. Stone also not that great, but if he was off here in the north, then this is gonna be alright. Most likely what we're gonna see is Tado going for his archers and then go for crossbows. Could imagine Doubt going for scouts, to be honest. That would be more than reasonable if you think about that. So Turks, they do get the free light cav upgrade, so even if he has some scouts remaining from feudal age, that can be even more effective once he reaches castle. And he could start popping out quite a decent amount of cavalry once he reaches castle age without any trouble. Meanwhile, going for Janissaries would mean that he needs to invest a lot of villagers into stone mining, and also they are going to be less mobile units. So I feel like could imagine Doubt going for scouts to open up with, and after that potentially going for some cavalry once castle age hits for him. It's gonna be a little bit weird lure over here, but yeah, it's kind of working still. On the other side, Melkor most likely going for his Aztec crossbows, and potentially if Fëanor goes for the traditional military and he doesn't actually go forward very aggressively, then we will most likely see scouts from him. It looks like each player is just using his scout for his eco boost, pushing zebras towards their TCs, and eventually the thing is that neither of the players are doing any aggressive scouting. Now it's Melkor moving up. Nope. No one did the mass spam message thingy. Yeah, I was asking Joshua about that one because I have no idea how it's working. I just know that it always pops up for me as well. So, alright, looks like Fëanor is gonna start walling himself off. He won't go for a very aggressive strategy over here. Fëanor will be the first to reach feudal at 20 wheels, shortly followed by Doubt, still at 20. Let's see. Looks like Melkor opening up with militias, quite common as Aztecs, as you're gonna see the archer range getting dropped very soon. Or maybe he won't. Now that's weird. 22 wheels, gonna be 23 for Malkor. He's not gonna click up. He's gonna click up very late, but... that's weird. This doesn't look like Archer build for me. He's gonna click up very late, to be honest, and I don't like this approach. The reason I don't like it is that he's not even walled to a little bit, so once Taro and Doubt sees that, he's basically an open target to every attack. He's gonna be way behind in feud age time, clicking up at 24 wheels, eventually going with the militias. That could be good. That could definitely be good. Oh, there's gonna be... That's just some next level walling over there by Doubt. Who says that Doubt can't wall? Eventually, Taro was saying thank you. Most likely, some of the players actually returned the ship to him. That's exactly what should have happened. This might be some idle time being forced, but I'm pretty sure that there is not going to be any serious damage done to the eco of Doubt. Looks like we have some lags for some reason. Weird. Okay, yeah. I will probably receive that message very soon, as Taro is gonna open up with some man-at-arms, going 4 man-at-arms. Let's not forget that these are Viking infantry, so they do have some extra health on those, so these are gonna be quite strong man-at-arms. And let's see, Fëanor going with the scouts, so eventually if Taro doesn't mix in a few spears, then it's gonna be a very short-lived attack. Let's see, Palisade Wall coming up for Fëanor. He's gonna start walling around. That's a dead villager. That has to be a dead villager there from Fëanor. Absolutely. Oh, it's gonna be very close. He needs to kill that with the scout. Needs to kill that with the scout. Yep, that's beautiful pick there from Taro. Eventually, villager will die to the wall building over there. More importantly, look at those men-at-arms roaming around. 50 HP also. And now that Taro sees those scouts, he should be going for a few spears. He doesn't going for anything. Weird. He might actually... Yeah, he's already building the arch range, so we are gonna see the archers going up. Still, I believe a few spears would definitely help him against the scouts of Fëanor. On the other side, we're gonna have Malkor running around with his militias, but yet again, Doubt's scouts should be able to clean it up without any trouble. Doubt's gonna go for scouts, gonna continue on the cavalry branch. Meanwhile, looks like this could be even worse for... Oh boy, Fëanor. Fëanor is in huge trouble. He needs to clean this up with his scouts. That's the only reasonable thing to do. That is... Eventually, he's kind of lucky that Taro didn't start to chase those villagers. I mean, just look at that. Lots of low HP villagers over there. And he's gonna get the hell harassed out of his wood line over there. And... the thing is that... I mean, look at that. Yeah, Malkor hates massives. I can believe you. He needs to clean those men-at-arms off. I mean, he's not engaging them with the... scouts, but he has to. I mean, he's getting the hell harassed out of his eco. Lots of idle time being forced already, so those man-at-arms were already worth it. Killing a villager and forcing a lot of idle time. Looks like Doubt's gonna go forward with his own scouts, and oh, that could be disaster for Malkor. That could be disaster. He's not even striking on those scouts, and Doubt will just continue his journey towards the base of Malkor. Malkor going with the archer, and she's gonna go for the mass archers over here. So what you're actually saying is that was waiting a while, so Taro looks away from his men-at-arms. Oh, that could be a possibility that he was waiting so that he could get some free hits in. Still, that was just so much idle time being forced. He was completely forced off his wood line over here, so that's not a great sign for him. Eventually, Malkor going into the TC fire with the spears. That was his only spearman, so the scouts should have no trouble cleaning up the archers, even though those are some low HP scouts from Doubt. But Doubt's gonna clean up those archers without trouble. And meanwhile, Taro gonna lose some of his archers, now gonna have fletching at his disposal. Still, doesn't look like Malkor's gonna wall himself off very much. He's quite nicely walled from the north. I'm not exactly sure if there is no hole there. Yep, there is a hole that needs to be fixed ASAP. Scouts from Fëanor trying to push the archers from Taro. Taro needs more spears, I think, if he wants to fight this. Looks like he's gonna mix in some more. And he's just at 1 archer range. So Taro might actually go for knights, which is definitely a possibility for him if you think about that. So just 1 archer range. And same applies for Doubt. He's just at 1 stable. So they can both switch strategies if they want to. Now I'm pretty sure that Doubt's gonna go for double stables and knights with Turks. On the other side, I feel like Taro could go for knights if he wants to. Now he's gonna face Fëanor with 2 drones. Knights could definitely be a reasonable way to go. Looks like Fëanor will mostly finish his wars finally, although... Oh, look at that villager. That villager might actually close herself out. That could be a disaster for him. Eventually, here come the archers. It's gonna be very close. That villager needs to be saved. Scale binding armor coming up for Doubt. He's gonna continue with the cavalry. Doubt at 32 wheels only. How is that possible? It looks like he's losing some villagers to the archers of Melkor over here. Melkor doing some serious damage with the archers on the eco of Doubt. Let's see. I think the main issue for Doubt at this point is that he's not perfectly walled, I would say. Potentially a house over there would prevent any more units from getting inside his base. Still, those archers roaming around are doing some serious damage to the eco of Doubt. I mean, look at that. Doubt at best getting forced low file time, but he's losing quite a number of wheels down to 30. That's quite a disaster for him. Looks like eventually Taro gonna move forward towards the base of Melkor, potentially trying to pick off a few villagers. Fëanor is quite walled, so there is basically nothing that he could do to pick off villagers. On the other hand, Melkor has a lot of exposed villagers behind those quick walls, so eventually that could be quite a number of villager picks. Fëanor will arrive just in time to scare away those units while Melkor can save his units. So, okay, broadcast is finished. I get the spam, yeah, I got the spam message as well, beautiful. So, eventually, Doubt's gonna be able to clean up those archers without any trouble and will reclaim his primary gold at the back. That's beautiful. But still, he lost quite a number of villagers. Taro gonna be the first one to click up the feudal, and he's gonna go for double archery ranges after all, going for crossbows. That's quite a decent decision, I would say. So he's gonna have crossbows way faster than anyone else, gonna have padded archer armor, so those will be some very strong crossbows quite early on at 10 military at this point. He should be able to try and harass the eco of Melkor potentially, Melkor with just archers of his own, but he's gonna be way behind in castle age time, so eventually Melkor won't be able to take a fight against the crossbows of Taro once Taro actually arrives. Looks like Fëanor will try to do some damage with those scouts. Those have some bloodlines, +1 armor, so they're gonna be quite tough to kill. Eventually, they could even take the fight against those spearmen, but against that many archers and a TC, it might be just way too much. Forging and Castlage coming up for Fëanor. So, let's see. Fëanor going for double stables. This will be knights very soon for him. Now, is it? Yeah, it's double stables just for him. Meanwhile, looks like Doubt is completely finished walling himself off. And let's see, Doubt with the scouts. And there is still a hole! I mean, Melkor, he literally checked that hole, placed the house right there. It's even a second layer of houses and there is still a hole. How? How you can allow that to happen? At least he's all walled, well, with the exception of that glaring hole on his wood line, but... oh boy, he gotta fix that. Well, he's open from the north anyway, so it doesn't really matter, to be honest. Well, that is just awkward to watch. Now, quite worth mentioning that Fëanor is doing some decent damage to the villagers over here from Taro, but as I can observe, just one lost will from Taro, so eventually this is gonna be a decent engagement there from Taro. He's gonna just wipe off most of the... yeah, that is rather just a bunch of buildings rather than a wall. Eventually this could be good for Fëanor. This could definitely be good for Fëanor. What is Taro doing in this one? He's trying to fight this with villagers, exactly what Melkor was doing previously, but you don't fight against +3 scouts with bloodlines and +1 armor with villagers. That's not the way to go, especially if you have crossbows. Now, he's gonna move forward with his crossbows. Eventually, Melkor will have to escort his villagers from his primary wood line. And here comes the free light cav upgrade from the Turks. And looks like knights arriving from Doubt as well, and the light cavs will be able to do serious damage. That's what I was talking about. So even if Doubt has some leftover scouts from feudal, those will be converted to light cavs and will be quite efficient, as Melkor will be forced away from his primary wood line. He can take this engagement. Now he has crossbows with Botkians, so eventually he could take this fight and the villagers will just be safe. Still, Fëanor with quite a number of scouts They could potentially try to pick off villagers there from Taro, but I think it's gonna be quite hard for them, especially considering that now Taro is on 3 TCs. Meanwhile, let's see what we have over here. Eventually, this is gonna be some beautiful raiding over there from Doubt and Taro. I think the key here is that Malcors just was forced of an insane idle time. I mean, look at that. He doesn't even have access to wood. Yeah, he doesn't have any lumberjacks at this point. So the idle time being forced on Malcor's eco is just insane. Also quite worth noting that he's losing quite a number of wheels. Look at that. Villagers dying left and right. That TC will never go up. And yeah, Malcor's eco is dead. Malcor's eco is completely dead, down to 25 villagers and just more and more knights pouring inside his base from Doubt. Those crossbows can't really take that much fights against those knights from Doubt. Doubt already has +2 armor and yeah, the remaining crossbows. Eventually, Feanor's gonna be able to clean this up with his knights, but the damage has been done on the eco of Malcor. Malcor down to 25 wheels. He's just on 1 TC, he will barely finish 2. Look at the idles. So right now he has 18 villagers working in total. That's horrible. Eventually, meanwhile, Taro is up on 3 DCs. Doubt looks like he's on 2 at this point, but he's just gonna make more and more knights. And yeah, this should be GG. I mean, I just don't believe that Malcor can come back to this one, especially considering that he's just losing more and more villagers, down to 24. Basically has nothing to work with now. That is absolutely horrible. Also, yeah, Malcor is not just looking bad. Malcor is dead. I mean, yeah, he's just calling the GG. 25 wheels in castle. When you can't get your third TC up, it's kind of a rape situation. I mean, look at that one. I mean, Taro almost had as many villagers as Malcor and Fëanor together in total. Also, military counts, well, they're kind of balanced, I would say, but still, it's just about the fact that sooner or later, Malcor would have been overrun. Anyways, also, his base is just like a Swiss cheese, all holes everywhere. So, yeah, this has no defensive value over here, this, let's call it semi-wall, or, well, pseudo-wall, you could call it. North is completely open. He's cut off from his woods, so, I mean, look at this. He has 4 lumberjacks, but they were just moving there. So, eventually, there was a time when he was completely cut off from wood. Yeah, this is absolutely understandable. GG again. Not a very hard victory for Secret. So I think it was kind of a one-sided game again, which is unfortunate because, well, there was some good moves from Fëanor and Malcor. I really liked Fëanor's approach to try and hunt down some villagers then from Taro. Malcor's snipes on Doubt villagers was also quite great. So eventually, as you can see, Doubt is still behind in villager count. Only Malcor is behind him, but obviously he lost everything. So definitely, the impact of Doubt's eco was huge from the raids of Malcor. Still, this is gonna be another victory for Secret. Let's see if they're actually playing more. So, here we go. Welcome everybody. This is gonna be a 2v2 setup between Team Secret and Heresy. We're gonna have Taro as Byzantines in blue to the left side. Right side will be Doubt in green as Mongols. To the south, we're gonna have Malcor as Huns in red, and finally Fëanor as Japanese in yellow. So the first thing to look at is that what the maps are looking like for the players. So Taro gonna have a beautiful back goal. I love it. Also quite safe with the back. What he needs to watch out for is not to get towered from the other side of that forest, but I don't think that that's a huge issue for him. Also has 2 back goals, so this is absolutely a beautiful base for him. It's kind of a shame that he is Byzantine, so he will spam trash anyways, but, well, at least he has the possibility to go for some decent gold units if he wants to. Okay, so Mr. GPN is going for Heresy, winning this one. Now, where is the stone at? He has a stone at the front. That's not a great stone for him. Also, he's kind of exposed from the south, so eventually that's not a great base for him, but at least he has safe gold at the back. That's going to be extremely important. On the other side, Doubt primary gold at the front, horrible spot. He doesn't actually have, well, he has some secondary gold, but that's also kind of exposed, so quite bad map, I would say, from Doubt. Also front stone, that's not the map you want to see as Mongols by any means. So eventually That is just a horrible map layout, I would say, for Doubt. On the other side, that's a beautiful goal there from Fëanor. Nice back goal for him. Eventually, he's going to have Stone at the front, also quite unfortunate, because half of it is actually getting blocked by the Forest. But as Japanese, you might not have to rely that much on your Stone, so eventually, having that Stone at the front is not a huge issue, I would say, for Fëanor. He can wall himself up quite nicely, so overall, this could be a decent map. Looks like this is going to be forward scout. I hear boars. Okay, it's just that boar. From Taro. What is Taro going for? Is he trying to lame boar? Now, he could try to do that. There is one over here from Makor, as we observe his base. Doesn't look like he's going to eventually go for the lame, just doing some general scouting. Makor kind of exposed from the north. That's something I don't like. Also, his primary stone isn't that great. But on the other hand, he has decent gold sources available for him, so still, this could be a decent map. Also, he has backstone, so eventually this is a good map for Makor. And I have to agree with GPN over this one, well, at least to some point. Map-wise, I think it's a little bit better for Makor and Fëanor. I'm not exactly sure if they're going to win that, but judged by the maps, this can be good. Now, to predict the strategies, most likely Hans gonna open up with scouts going for knights. On the other side, Fëanor with the Japanese going with archers and crossbows. Most likely we're gonna see some militias popping out for Fëanor, because you do get some bonuses on your infantry with Japanese, so eventually it's quite worth actually going for that before you go directly to archers. On the other side, without possibly scouts is what we're gonna see. And finally, for Taro, now I'm curious to see how Taro is gonna play this. So far we've seen 2 games with Byzantines today, and both of them actually went for a forward attempt to spam trash inside the opponent's base. Now, I'm not exactly sure if Taro is gonna go for that one. We'll see. I could imagine him going in multiple directions. Possibly, considering that Doubt will 99% go for scouts, he could eventually go for archers if he wants to. Now let's see. Makor, gonna be the first one to click up the feudal at 18 wills. That's quite early. That's definitely a very early click up by the Hun player over here, as he's gonna be the first one to reach feudal, shortly followed by Doubt. Now Doubt also clicked up at 18 wills, so quite early click ups here from both players. Let's see. Fëanor starting to wall himself up. Okay, that's not actually a wall, it's just a lumber camp. What you bet? You're actually asking me who's gonna win this? I think Secret. I feel like there is just a so large skill gap between Heresy and Secret in this one, that even though it might be better situation map-wise for Heresy, and it might even be possibly better civs, but I could argue with that. I just feel like it's just a so huge skill gap. Makor and Fëanor are great players, but Taro and Doubt are just something next level or higher level. Eventually, this is gonna be some very aggressive. Okay, Taro changes his mind, going with the barracks at the back a little bit. So eventually, he's gonna go forward with the trash spam again, and looks like Makor will do some damage on his scout using his earlier feudal time. Taro's gonna be the final player to actually reach feudal, and we should see stable going up for Makor. I like the idea of Taro going for Makor over here. He knows that he's facing Hans, so he knows that most likely we're gonna see scouts coming up from him. So eventually his spearman spam should be able to overwhelm Makor in this engagement. Meanwhile, looks like Doubt's gonna play this very slow. He's gonna go for his stable over here. Interesting barracks placement, I have to say, from Doubt, as Taro is going to be the final one to reach village. Now let's see if Makor has any idea. Now Makor has an idea about the forward base of Taro. Taro going directly to Spearman, but this could be a disaster. Eventually he needs to use all those villagers to scare away the scouts. This could be a disaster for Taro if he doesn't micro that perfectly. Yeah, here come the villagers there from Makor. He's gonna play this very aggressive. I think the key here, yeah, exactly. Makor needs to use the villagers to kill the spears so that he opens up the way for his scouts. That should be lost villagers there from Taro. It's gonna be very close though. Gonna be extremely close. Looks like still Taro has full HP villas on this one. and eventually Taro might survive without losing any villager in this engagement, and that can be good for him still. Looks like there's gonna be a quite larger chase over here, as Makor will go for a few spears. Meanwhile, just one scout there from Doubt, going up with more very soon, trying to pick off that villager, but this spear should be able to, yeah, to scare him away for the time being, as Doubt will just start making more and more of his scouts. Now, that villager around from Taro will most likely never leave that place, but he's gonna get his archer range up, which will mean that skirms will be arriving, yeah, right? Yeah, this has to be skirms from Taro. Let's see. We're actually hearing signals from Taro. What is he going for? He's gonna go for the Spearman plus skirm spam, that's no question. But now this is interesting. Eventually there is a forward villager there from Makor, so a bit of an idle time is being forced, and that villager will survive the engagement with the Spearman most likely. Now that's some peace agreement over there. I mean, hello? Staring contest between the Spearman and the villager. Who's gonna win? A fascinating fight. Question is life or death. They're patiently waiting for their foe to strike first. Just observing the surroundings. Thinking of strategies. That is what we're seeing here as they prepare for a huge fight. Hello, could you please start it? I mean, sir? Well, meanwhile, we're gonna have a push on the base of Makor over here. Looks like it's Doubt's gonna be arriving with the scouts, and this could be a good engagement because, well, Taro is gonna use his skirms to actually take down the Spearman of Makor, and this should open up the way for the scouts of Doubt. So that would be the way to go, and exactly what we were seeing. So, oh, that's some very early GG there from Makor. Here, oh, the villager! Eventually, Taro found that villager going for the fight. Now the thing is that I'm not exactly sure if betting actually works, but betting right before the game's ending is kind of unfortunate. So the thing is that this is just a perfect micro here. Makor with a very early GG. I'm not exactly sure what Fëanor was going for. I mean, look at this. Fëanor with just... Where is Fëanor at? Okay, Fëanor was trying to hurt the eco of Doubt, but the problem is that Makor was just so dead. It was a perfect micro there, by the way, from Taro and Doubt. So the thing is that you get cheaper trash units like skirms with Byzantines, so you can actually use them to get quite a huge numbers up. And those skirms, yeah, that would have been a possibility. I think he tried. Kind of looks like he tried to wall around the barracks of Taro, but instead, these villagers could have been trying to wall that. That's my idea. The thing is that those skirms are just fine in sniping down the unarmored spears from Makor, and that kind of opens up the way for Doubt. Quite early GG, but I was kind of right that I just feel like this is just a so huge skill gap to jump for Heresy. They're good players, I'm not saying they're bad, but Taro and Doubt are just way better players at this point, and that's exactly what we've seen. So I don't think that Heresy could actually win that anytime soon. Now let's see. Looks like they're still trying. They're still trying to take a win. So we'll actually take a look inside there. I just don't know. They might need to play a little bit more defensive. That's the only thing I can think of. So they're leaving bases open. They weren't very aggressive, didn't work. So what they could try potentially is to play a little bit more defensive, wall a little bit more. They just feel like they lose their eco so fast to some raids. They need to preserve their eco, as we're going to jump into the next game with Taro in blue as Burmese to the left. Right side will be Doubt as Somalians in green. Two very strong civilizations to fight against. North is going to be Makor as Teutons in red, and finally Fëanor in yellow as Italians. Take a look at the maps. We're going to have Fëanor with the front gold. Not so fortunate for him, he's completely open. Yeah, that is not a great map for Fëanor, let's state that. So his primary stone is exposed, his gold is exposed. He has no safe resources at the back, basically. He can wall this off potentially, but he might be denied. Yeah, Draken is actually saying that he could have done it. I think that's true. So early on, he basically was up to feudal when Taro, or he was way up to feudal when Taro was just reaching it. So eventually, he had the advantage of walling it around. That's true. Still, on the other side, we're gonna have Melkor as Teutons. Now, again, there is a possibility of him going for towers, but like I said, I feel like they could try playing a little bit more defensive. His gold isn't that great, stone a little bit better. At least he has some bad gold to work with, so eventually this could be a kind of decent base for him. He needs to wall like under TC, potentially, and then he's gonna be fine. On the other side, Taro has a beautiful back gold, I would say. The only issue I have with it is that he's kind of exposed from the left, and I just don't know how he's gonna wall it. This gold also, like, decent-ish, I would say. Not that horrible, but not that great either. This is a base you can work with, but not that favorable at all. And finally, we will have Doubt Malians. Now that's a bad gold I like. And eventually, he's gonna have a nice base. He can wall this off completely. Yeah, this is a beautiful base for Doubt, absolutely, as he's gonna use his scout to push deer towards his TC. Doesn't look like either player is gonna go for lame. Ambio is not playing, so that's quite predictable. Let's see. Now, talking about the strategies, with Burmese, I could imagine a number of ways, but potentially scouts will be the way to go for Taro, I would say. Because Doubt is Malians, it's almost certain that Doubt will open up with 3 men-at-arms, or well, at least 3 men-at-arms. Potentially it could even be 4 or 5 if he wants to. And then continue with archers, that would be a reasonable way to go. Malian men-at-arms and basically infantry get extra pierce armor, so it's gonna be insanely hard for the opponent to actually snipe them down with archers, especially considering that Fëanor is Italian, so he will be the one going for archers most likely, and Melkor will be going for scouts if I had to bet. So eventually, this should mean that Doubt's men-at-arms should be able to take decent engagements with Fëanor early on. Let's see. On the other side, like I said, Taro, I feel like he could go for his scouts. We'll see about that one. So we're gonna have this second lure. Oh, is the boar gonna go back? Now that's some interesting boar movement over there. Okay, I thought that Fëanor was gonna lose that villager. I was scared for a second. And the boar, oh, the boar is gonna go back. That's quite unfortunate for Fëanor. He definitely has to struggle. I mean, look at that boar. He really doesn't want to get eaten. Finally, grabbing that lure is Fëanor, but, well, it took quite time for him to do that. Not that great. Now, looks like Melkor is gonna go for some early aggressive scouting, as Taro will open up with the barracks. Kind of feels like he could go for militias if he wants to. We'll see. Meanwhile, on the other side, barracks as well from Doubt. Like I said, I can almost certainly say that he's gonna go for man-at-arms. That's just so obvious as Malians. Meanwhile, does it look like any military production is being constructed by Melkor? And looks like just Fëanor is gonna go for 1 barracks of his own. Yeah, Melkor not going for any military. That might backfire on him again. Like I said, they are really struggling against early raids. So if he doesn't really have any military to protect himself with, it's just gonna be disaster for him. Let's see. Fëanor having some housing issues, that's never a good sign. Eventually it's just gonna be his military production suffering. Luckily for him, he's just aging up with the TC, and it's not actually slowing down his military or villager production. But still, he's gonna be behind the militia numbers thanks to that housing issue. On the other side, let's see, Doubt. He's gonna go for 3 militias now. Looks like he's gonna go on gold, so gonna transition to archers most likely. That's the reasonable way to go. Melkor gonna be the first onto feudal, but he won't really have. Okay, now he has a barracks going up. Let's see. He's most likely gonna go for scouts. That's almost certain. And he's gonna do some decent scouting around the base of Taro. So far, so good for him. Let's see. This is not a great spot for Taro. Okay, I really hope that it was just a mistake from him and he wasn't really trolling Melkor, but definitely. He took some shots with his scout, and there's gonna be the stable going up for Melkor. Let's see if Taro is gonna spot that one. Taro sees the barracks, but, well, I think he can suspect that Melkor is going for the scouts. He can't see the gold mine, so it can't be for sure, but I think he can suspect that Melkor is going to go for the scouts. Now, earlier men-at-arms were hit for Fëanor, but hitting on Fëanor just as 3 militias as compared to 5 of Doubt. That's what I was talking about. So the +1 Pierce Armor from Doubt's men-at-arms is just gonna be insane, and it looks like we're gonna have men-at-arms coming from Taro as well. Now that's surprising. What is Taro gonna continue with men-at-arms? Now that's new. Looks like he's not gonna go for scouts. He's just gonna continue with men-at-arms. Now this is gonna be some strong men-at-arms from Doubt. Doesn't look like there will be any archers going up from Fëanor just yet. Meanwhile, looks like Blacksmith is gonna be the way to go for Doubt for now. And here comes the raid. Again, Melkor isn't really walled at all, so all those quick walls are the things that holding out the military from Taro. But eventually, it's just risky. Kind of feels like the same as previously. The fact that he only has the quick walls is kind of risky, because once archers arrive, what is he gonna do against that? Meanwhile, on the right side we're gonna see the engagement. Looks like Fëanor has reinforced his numbers with some additional men-at-arms, and now he should be able to take this engagement. Scale Mail Armor coming up for Taro. Is he gonna go for full infantry? Now that's surprising. That's absolutely surprising, as we're gonna see Doubt losing most of his military quite easily to the men-at-arms of Fëanor. Fëanor moving forward. Doesn't look like Doubt has anything to fight against this one. Meanwhile, let's see. What is Taro going for? He has Scale Mail Armor on those infantry. Why is he investing in that if he's not making any more of that? I'm not exactly sure, but he could definitely take down villagers with this push over here. Meanwhile, on the other side, we're gonna have a raid coming up from Fëanor. What could he potentially strike at? Well, it's gonna be kind of tough, as we're gonna have more men-at-arms coming up from Doubt. Are they gonna play this with men-at-arms only? Oh, that is a disaster. That is again a disaster for Melkor. He's gonna lose another villager there. Already 3 villagers lost in this engagement. Could be 4 very soon. Oh boy. Oh boy, that is just a disaster. Again, the only wood line of Melkor just getting massacred. He's down to 24 villagers. This is gonna be this decent engagement for Doubt. He's gonna go for Scale Mail Armor of his own as well. And it looks like they're gonna play this with men-at-arms. So, not transitioning to archers. Meanwhile, Fëanor gonna go for his archers, and Blacksmith is going up as well. Now, this is what I was talking about, as Malians already 3 Pierce Armor on those men-at-arms. Basically, those archers can't really scratch them. Maybe with fletching, but that's not gonna hurt those infantry that much either. Meanwhile, looks like Taro is pushing very heavily with his Burmese infantry. Let's not forget that he already has +2 attack on those guys, so eventually that might be a reason that he's going for the men-at-arms of his own. Looks like there's gonna be a counterattack from Melkor towards his base. What could he potentially raid? Basically nothing. Yeah, it's almost impossible to find anything to raid. Maybe the stone miners, but there is a spear guarding it. It's just 3 scouts and basically a half. That is half that. 1 spear could potentially, with +2 attack, that spearman should be able to take down those scouts, I'm pretty sure, or at least help out the villagers escape. Meanwhile, looks like we're gonna have some more men-at-arms arriving from Doubt. Oh, and Doubt's in. Doubt is in. That is a disaster again from Fëanor, and you can see that those archers can't really do any major damage to the infantry. I mean, look at that. They can basically just scratch them. Meanwhile, looks like there's gonna be another push from Taro. They're gonna play this in men-at-arms completely, it feels like. And eventually, yeah, Doubt going for 4 men-at-arms. Now that's new. Now that's new. Meanwhile, Melkor just adding more and more layers of houses. Yeah, there is no way for Taro to get inside that base for now. And it kind of feels like this could be a game for Heresy, but I'm pretty sure that Taro and Doubt aren't playing on full strength at this point. Just going 4 men-at-arms, it's kind of like not the way to go. Well, obviously, well, it's kind of obvious that they're not playing this very seriously over here. We'll see. We'll see. Looks like Doubt's gonna go for more and more men-at-arms on the other side. Taro going for men-at-arms of his own. and Tado's gonna be the first one to click up to castle. What is he gonna go for? He has a lot of stone miners. This is gonna be a run by from Tado, I feel like. Why else would you have so many stone miners? You're not going for stone, or you're not going for towers. He has, how many is that? 2, 4, 6, 7 villagers of stone miners. That's huge. 7 villagers mining stone for you. If you don't go towers, can only mean that you're going for a castle. Now, meanwhile, it looks like Malkor and Fëanor are really trying to get inside the base of Daud, and that could work. That could definitely work, as 2 of those scouts are already inside, and Daud is still just fighting this with men-at-arms, just continuing with more and more. Eventually, he's gonna lose 1 villager to this one. Defensive tower should be able to go up for Daud, although it's gonna be close. This is gonna be more than close. Daud tower coming up. Yeah, our Lord and Savior bringing up a tower. It's just gonna be very close. Eventually this tower will just go up. So the strike here from Malkor and Fëanor will be repelled. It's gonna be very close to gate that in. He might be able to trap the archers. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. And eventually he's gonna be able to chase them down, I'm pretty sure. Meanwhile, lots of scouts roaming around the base of Tado. So looks like Malkor and Fëanor definitely want to play this in feudal. Lots of scouts still for Malkor, and Fëanor has a decent amount of archers, but yet again they're nowhere close to Castle Age. So, oh boy, this could be a disaster. Oh, that is some nice next level final second rolling there. Eventually, from Tado, he's just gonna secure those villagers quite well. Still, some scouts roaming around, and this could be some potential villager picks over there. Daud losing quite a few villagers to those scouts in that engagement. And let's see, TC coming up for Tado, and it looks like he's not gonna go for a castle just yet, but he's definitely saving up for one. He's almost at 600 stone. Yep, so I will heal you. There is a settings panel for that, so if you launch a game, I think it's like Shift plus F11 or something like that, as we're gonna have Fëanor with the archers picking up quite a number of villagers there from Tado. Tado, will the TC go up? Yep, TC is up, so eventually he's gonna be able to preserve those villagers. Like I said, I am almost certain that Tado and Daud aren't playing to their full potential. So the thing is that you can adjust the layout of this research bar. There's a settings panel for that somewhere. If you launch the game, there is a tooltip at the start how you can actually start the setup for the overlay. So yeah, that's kind of like I think it's Shift plus 11, or maybe not. I'm not exactly sure, but there's a tooltip over here that's gonna explain that to you. So Malkor going up with his scouts. Looks like he's definitely trying to take that market down. Meanwhile, longswords from Tado. He's gonna go for those Burmese longswords. Let's not forget that those are already +3 attack. Yeah, Control Shift, as that's also true. Daud with his man-at-arms. They're gonna play this full man-at-arms. Now that's new. And here we go. Castle up for Tado. Let's see if he's gonna go for a run-by. A run-by wouldn't be that great against those archers anyways, but he could try to go for those. Eventually a run-by should be nice, cleaning up those scouts. But yeah, it kind of looks like they're just gonna play this with the longsword branch, giving a little bit of an advantage to Heresy in this one. Heresy doing decent job over here. Bloodline scouts doing some damage on this eco of Tado, but yet again, I think Tado could be able to repel this one without going for long swords of his own. Those are gonna be some beast of long swords though. I mean, look at that. Once champion armor hits, those will have in total 5 pierce armor. Almost impossible to kill them with archers. Those are gonna be... Oh, that is so sloppy from Malkor. That wasn't a well built gate. And just look at him. Daud will just swarm him with long swords. That's just absolute destruction. Absolute destruction there from the side of Daud. Eventually, I think he's gonna be able to get inside there. Yeah, there is no way that Malkor can repair that. He's gonna shine stone wall behind that. Yeah, but yeah, you can see the desperation on here. Eventually, Tado is losing quite a number of villagers. Villager count kind of, I would say, in the favor of Heresy a little bit, especially because Daud is behind. But It's not a huge villager lead, and eventually, like, look at that. Oh boy. Oh boy, eventually... Daud could actually destroy that lumber camp, or... Well, destroying that lumber camp, or just trying to attack it, would force Melkor to put a stone wall over there. So eventually... Well, this is already very disastrous for him. Look at the longswords. They will just decimate that TC. Melkor's gonna die soon. Melkor's gonna die soon. And yeah, the TC fire won't be able to affect those longswords that much. And remember how much pierce armor they have? Yeah, look at that. It's just almost impossible to kill those longswords with arrow fire. And just more and more are swarming from the base of Daud, our Lord and Savior, winning this one with longswords only. And Melkor gonna die, lose his TC, only TC he has. His woodline is more than inefficient. He's just gonna have to escort his villagers somewhere, potentially towards the base of Fëanor. Fëanor is bringing in some crossbows, but yet again, those are some insane longswords. Arambai roaming around for Taro. He should be able to do some serious damage there as well. Eventually there is still this amount of crossbows for Fëanor, but I think that Daud's gonna be able to clean it up. Even if not, problem is gonna be that Melkor is basically dead again. And yeah, the Arambai should be able to kill all those. I mean, look at that. Arambai will just kill everything. Those are just sick. And eventually, still Fëanor will try, but Melkor's eco will suffer greatly. Yeah, all the villagers will die. There is no way out. There is basically no way out. I mean, look at this one. Just with long swords, our Lord and Savior, Daud, winning this one. And I think it was really up to him. So the thing is that Taro was definitely suffering from huge raids over here, losing quite a number of villagers. But it was really the longswords of Daud that basically destroyed the base of Melkor over here. Melkor trying to run with those villagers, but that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Eventually, Arambai will be cleaned up, but I'm pretty sure that Taro can just replenish his numbers in a few moments. Yep. Meanwhile, he's gonna have a way better eco now. And basically, Melkor's just gonna lose his entire base. What is he hoping in? He's really trying to just give Fëanor time and a chance to protect him from those longswords. Those Maria longswords are just sick with their armor. It's just an insane amount of armor to have. Meanwhile, looks like Taro's just gonna delete that Arambai instead of allowing it to fall into the hands of Melkor. And that was kinda unlucky for Melkor as well. He couldn't even convert an Arambai. Well, those Arambais were missing quite a few shots on that monk, but eventually it wasn't successful still. Looks like Fëanor will try to clean up the push over here from Taro, but yeah, still Melkor's eco is completely dead. He's absolutely dead, and Daud can just decide to go towards the base of Fëanor if he wants to. Let's see. Yeah, Taro can't escape from this one, but he doesn't really need to. They are gonna have a huge villager lead, especially Taro. So Taro is doing a decent boom over here with 3 TCs already. Daud just playing with 1 TC casually and going for more and more long swords. He still has a huge amount left, so he should be able, yeah, to strike at Fëanor's base. Fëanor gonna go for Imperial, that's what they are hoping in. So Melkor is basically dead. All he can do is just mine a lot of gold. I wouldn't be surprised if he was actually slinging Fëanor either. I'll check on that one. Or he's trying to get a castle up, that would be a reasonable thing to do as well. Gonna get a market to balance out his eco, and he's gonna go for some monks. Monks and crossbows. They definitely believe that they can take this one. But yeah, here come a lot of Arambai, here come the longswords. They do have arson already, so just look at them smash through those archer ranges in just a few moments. And I just don't know. Fëanor will try to get up to Imperial, but Daud will be up to Imp. 1 TC Imperial with 46 villagers from Daud. Eventually, the crossbows will arrive, but yeah, the Arambai should be just fine denying those gates, right? I mean, Arambai, please. Eventually, it looks like Secret's gonna bail out this attack, but still the damage has been done again. Looks like we're gonna have more and more monks against the Arambai from Melkor. Yeah, Melkor is going for full monks, and he's trying to replenish his villager numbers. Still at 29 villagers, and he doesn't even have a TC, so he needs not only 1, but 2, 3, 4 TCs if he wants to replenish his numbers in time. He's gonna have some wood issues, he doesn't even have any lumberjacks, so even if he gets his TCs back up, his eco is kind of a mess at this point. Let's see, Doubt still roaming around with those long swords. Could he try to get inside? There are a number of ways he could get inside at. Meanwhile, this is gonna be decent army there from Fëanor, going with a forward siege workshop, double forward siege workshop coming from Fëanor. Longswords still in the mix for Doubt at this point. Let's see what Doubt is waiting for. Is he waiting for the two-ended swords and upgrade? That will be one way to go for him. As, yeah, here is the blob of crossbows arriving from Fëanor. Meanwhile, just more and more around by from Taro, as Taro is losing quite a number of those to the monks of Melkor. Let's see, Imperial Age soon hitting for Doubt as well. Bracer already up for Fëanor. So eventually, those crossbows should be able to get inside. And now Fëanor has the chance to do damage. Remember, Doubt at 46 villagers. So losing some will definitely impact his eco quite badly. Looks like Doubt's gonna go forward. Lions might try to deny that one, but still, Doubt will move forward. What is he gonna go for? Is he gonna go for a TC somewhere over here on the wood? What is he up to? What is he up to? He might lose more villages over here to those arbalests very soon. Now let's see, decent amount of Arambai left for Taro. So far, it's looking good for him. Yeah, now Doubt's eco is getting harassed, but still, Taro has a beast of an economy. What's kind of unfortunate is that he's losing quite a number of those Arambai to the monks of Melkor, but yet again, he's picking off those monks at least, so I'm not exactly sure if this is good trades, but at least he's getting some trade-off for those. He's gonna get up to Imperial as well, and Doubt with the two-ended swords. Now those are gonna be insane. Look at that, 7 pierce armor on those guys. Those are just insane. Absolutely insane, and just swarming the Arbalest. There might be no escape from here. There might be no escape from here. This is gonna be very close, and I'm pretty sure that most of those Arbs will die to the swarming longs or two-ended swords of Doubt. Doubt will most likely be able to clean this up. It's gonna be close though, but well, considering how much behind Melkor is, even if Doubt loses a lot of army over here, yeah, Melkor is just gonna call the GG. Doubt and Taro going for a little bit of a memeing over here, I would say, with the longsword push and the Arambai. Still, Fëanor and Melkor was unable to take this. I just feel like Melkor wasn't really walling that much early on, and again, exactly the same happens. So he has no walls, and his eco is completely walled or completely open, and just longswords from Dal who are sick, just insane. Malian longswords just overwhelming everything in their path. That was more than hilarious. And eventually, I'm not exactly sure if they're gonna play more though, because well, it kind of felt like Heresy doesn't really have any chance in this engagement. So here we go. We're gonna have Secret versus Heresy, a 5th installment of this series going on between Melkor and Fëanor, facing Taro and Doubt in this setup. So let's see. We're gonna have Taro as Italians in blue to the left side of the map. Below him is gonna be Doubt as Mongols in green. Right side, Japanese from Melkor in red, and finally Fëanor as Malians in yellow. Now, it's gonna be interesting to see what they can do with these civilizations. Let's talk about the maps first, and after that the possible strategies we'll discuss. So, beautiful back goal there from Taro, I like it. I really like it. His stone is kind of garbage overall. Well, overall his base is kind of garbage. I mean, he's completely open from the right side. Not as if it really mattered in the previous series, but still, this is not a great base for him. For our Lord and Savior, Mr. Doubt, he's gonna have a backstone, another backstone just to make sure that he has access to safe stone. His primary gold isn't that great, but not that horrible either. He's gonna need that as Mongols, but I'm not exactly sure if we are gonna see completely professional strategies. We've seen in the previous match that they were going for full infantry. Considering that Melkor and Fëanor are 4 games behind, well, I would understand that they don't play that seriously in this match. So, Melkor with Japanese in red. His primary gold is kind of alright-ish, I would say. Other than that, Not a horrible map for him, not that great either. He's gonna be able to live with that one. Eventually, on the other side, Fëanor with Malians, front gold, not that great, but wallable, so overall, decent maps for all players. Doesn't look like we're gonna see any lamings today, unfortunately. I am kind of sad about that one. I really wanted to see some lames, but eventually it doesn't look like we're gonna have any, so we'll have to stick with what we have over here. Hi there, Vivi fan. Also, quite noting, this is the most savage relic placement possible on Earth. And the thing is that players often forget to actually scout around the edges of the map, and that double or well, it actually applies to corners even more. So there is basically, I can bet you there is no chance that anyone's gonna be able to find that relic. I can bet you. So meanwhile, Doubt with Mongols, if he's playing, let's say, seriously, or well, like I said, you could see in the previous match that he was going for full infantry, but if we would just actually take a look at the civilizations, hi there, Glocken. That's good for me. Absolutely good for me. The cap letters just make it look even better and emphasize your thoughts. So, Doubt with the Mongols. Potentially scouts for him. This would leave Taro to go for the archers of his own. On the other side, Fëanor possibly opening up with a few men-at-arms would be nice. After that, transitioning to archers would be the appropriate way. Here we go. Melkor doing some decent scouting. What is he gonna go for? He's gonna say hi to the lumberjacks of Doubt over there. But other than that, he's not gonna be able to find that much stuff. He needs to watch it not to run under the TC. Okay, he's gonna evade that. That's nice. So let's see. Again, I am so mad at Heresy not walling themselves. I mean, from match to match you see them losing half of their eco because of raids, so you would expect them to go for some heavy walling, but no, they don't. Interesting. Most interesting is Doubt's gonna be the first one to click up to feudal at 17 villas. That's some very early click up over there from Mr. Doubt. Let's see, that zebra doesn't really want to get eaten. And zebra? Okay, now it's actually finding the way towards DC. Meanwhile, doesn't look like either of the players are doing this with walls, so they're gonna play like men without walls. Now, looks like Melkor, this is a decent spot for Brax. I really hope that he at least places a palisade over there, because there's just a so huge hole, even I can actually spot it. Okay, now it's good. As we're gonna have Melkor and Fëanor going up to feudal as well. What is Tati doing? Tati? Okay, now Tati is going up to feudal as well. Let's see, Doubt. He's gonna have his barracks up just in time for feudal age to hit, and he will most likely go. Let's see, no gold. Yeah, that is a filling of a gap perfectly, as you said. So eventually no gold, so this is gonna be a scout build from him most likely. That scout definitely just hungry to take a villager, but it's not gonna work. Doubt knows the trick. That scout just roaming around trying to pick off a villager, but 2 villagers he is unable to pick off, so eventually those villagers will live to see another day. Eventually, Doubt going for the stable of his own, and let's see, militias pushing from Melkor. He could potentially try to harass the villagers, but it's not gonna happen, I think. Problem is that he doesn't really have anything to kill. I mean, those villagers at the berries will just run back to the TC. Lumberjacks will just quick wall themselves, so I don't feel like there is anything that those militias could do from Melkor. I like the idea though, because you get some nice infantry bonuses as Japanese, but he's gonna go for men-at-arms, but I don't feel like there's anything he could potentially take down with these men-at-arms at this point. Meanwhile, looks like, what is Fëanor going for? Fëanor with just 1 military. He's not going for men-at-arms, and that's new. Now that's new, and this is what I said, so villagers will just run back to the TC anyways. A little bit of an idle time will be forced over there, but getting 4 men-at-arms is quite a huge investment, so you really want to get some villager picks. That's what you want to go for. Eventually, double archer ranges coming up for Tari. Gonna be interesting, because like I said, infantry for Fëanor will just bear those arrows quite well. And, well, it looks like Melkor will just settle with destroying that mill. But now, scouts should arrive from Doubt. Doubt could even afford to go towards the base of Malkor. Malkor mixing in some... Where are the spears at, Malkor? Malkor going for men-at-arms. Malkor going for men-at-arms against scouts. He needs spears. Looks like we have a pause as well. So Malkor definitely needs spears into this matchup because those men-at-arms won't be able to fight that well against these scouts over there. On the other side, double archer ranges up for Taro. And let's see. What is... Okay, it's gonna be Fëanor going with the cavalry. Also reasonable as Malians. I just... Personally, one of my favorite civs. Yeah, he could be fine with Japanese men-at-arms. Still, I would like to see at least 1 or 2 spears potentially from him against that many scouts. Japanese men-at-arms are indeed great because of their attack speed bonus. But I think he would be a little bit better off if he had, let's say 1 or 2 spears would be just so great against these fights. Still, he took a nice engagement over there, but Doubt will just be fine, securing his resources. Let's see. Most likely we're gonna see the archers of Taro. Well, we could see 2 potential things. He could even go towards the base of Fëanor, or he could actually come down, help Doubt cleaning this up. +1 armor. Bad micro dam by Malkor. Now this is gonna be interesting. He could potentially pick off some villagers over here if he's microing this perfectly. And yeah, this is absolutely beautiful from Malkor, and kind of like a Doubt move. Doubt losing 2, 3. Yeah, that's gonna be 3 villagers lost by Doubt. Eventually, he could even lose a 4th one. Nope, that's gonna be saved. Doubt taking the engagements with villagers, that's not a good sign. Scouts arriving for Fëanor, and looks like Taro is just on archers. Doesn't look like he's making any more spears. Okay, he just has 1 spear over here, guarding that strategically important zebra over there. For some reason, that poor zebra has just 2 health. Some cruel creature could have actually shot that with an arrow. Meanwhile, that's not the perfect way of microing your men-at-arms, so if you are actually new to Age of Empires, take notes, that's not the way you should be microing your men-at-arms over there. Some interesting walling. Looks like this is gonna be some next level team walling there by Taro and Doubt. I like it. I like the approach. Basically, they're gonna secure a lot of map control with this one, especially if Doubt finishes the part of the wall over here, because right now there's just a huge hole. Let's see. I mean, Doubt is still trying to get rid of those men-at-arms there from Malkor. He's definitely gonna struggle. Meanwhile, looks like Fëanor is gonna be completely walled. Now, what is Fëanor going for? He's going for more scouts, but he's actually doing any damage on Taro at this point. Taro now arriving with the archers. Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. He needs to clean up those men-at-arms from Malkor over here. Let's see. More and more archers arriving from Taro, so he's gonna have some decent military numbers up. He's gonna continue with crossbows in castles anyways, so those will help him quite a bit later on. But yet again, he's losing villagers, so for those who haven't actually seen this series, it's true that it's 4-0 lead for Team Secret at this point, but Heresy did have some beautiful raids on the ecos. Like this one is also quite nice. Exactly what he needs. Exactly what he needs. That spear will just be enough to actually save those villagers. Still, Fëanor taking down 1 villager over there, already worded. He could potentially get some more here on the wood line or here on the gold. The gold is gonna be quick walled quite nicely, and I'm pretty sure that the wall will be up on the wood as well. Still, decent moves over there from Fëanor to pick off a villager. That could be a lost villager there from Malkor. That is something that Doubt has to take, and yeah, Malkor sees the trouble coming, and... Malkor, okay, it's gonna be finished. It's just gonna be finished. Is it? Yeah, this is risky. No, eventually Malkor failed to 1. I mean, Malkor, the same mistake as he did previously, having a very low HP wall. Those scouts could just get inside. Beautiful recognition there by Doubt actually to notice the low HP wall, and a lot of idle time will be forced this way. So eventually. Doubt might leave without a single villager pick, but the amount of idle time being forced is just gonna be hilarious, and that might even be a will pick. Gonna be very close. It's a beautiful villager pick there, eventually, by Doubt. Looks like Fëanor is still roaming around the inside the base of Taro, but doesn't seem to concern Taro that much, to be honest. Let's see. Just more and more archers from Mr. Taro. And he will just... yeah, that was definitely panic. Meanwhile, Fëanor gonna be first to Castle Age, actually ahead of both secret players. Also, I heard a town bell ringing. Who uses town bell ringing in this game? That's my question. Alright, so Fëanor gonna get pushed away by the spears, but the market is actually denied over here, at least delayed, because eventually Taro is gonna build on the other side. Let's see. Going forward with the archers is Taro. He's not going up to castle. Is Taro gonna fight this in feudal? I mean, Taro isn't even close to clicking up to Castle Age. He's selling some resources. He could eventually buy some food, but he's very far from clicking up to Castle, I would say. Meanwhile, Fëanor already almost up to Castle, shortly followed by Melkor. Doubt going up with the third Castle Age time. And here we go, Taro. Townbell is a 5th century phone call, that's true. And looks like we're gonna see a lot of cavalry coming from Fëanor. He's gonna go for 3 stables. Eventually, that's just gonna be 2.5. Obviously, this one is not gonna produce any cavalry for some time. Meanwhile, it looks like Daud and Taro definitely want to get inside. There's gonna be some decent walling over there by the villagers. And I'm not exactly sure if Fëanor is gonna be able to second layer that one. I am not exactly sure. That's what I was thinking about. Taro gonna follow shortly. Yeah, that could be one thing that Orgodemir actually talks about. That it could be actually a wrong hotkey. Eventually, there's gonna be Melkor's soon-to-be crossbows arriving. Well, using the beautiful thing about Hidden Cup 2 is that you don't know the identity of the players. So eventually, using Townbell isn't that much of a shame for you, because well, no one knows who did that. Obviously, if you remember the player using the Townbell at the end of the tournament, then it's nice because you will know who used that. But it's not that huge of a shame because they can't know that you are the one who are using it. So chain bonding armor and husbandry coming up for Fëanor. We should see knights coming from 3 stables very soon from Fëanor. But Fëanor just at 38 wheels. Can he really sustain knight numbers? I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. So my problem is that he has 3 stables, but he can actually produce knights on all at this point. He doesn't have the eco for that one. So 3 stables might seem a little bit too much for me. Taro gonna have a lot of crossbows very soon with Bodkin Arrow. He will have to engage this one after that. He will be easily outnumbering Melkor in this one. A little bit early push with the archers there now. Okay, he's gonna be able to push with the crossbows. Eventually, kind of balanced, I would say. Definitely considering this a balanced setup so far, as we're gonna have a defensive castle up for down. I'm not a huge fan of this castle spot. I like the idea of going defensive castle because you want to go for mango dice, but yet again, this is not defending anything aside from that one lonely berry, which is actually 2. So I feel like it would have been a little bit more appropriate, like let's say on the gold over here if he wants to, or could have even imagined over here. He still has a TC. I just don't like this spot over here. Daud playing like Tim. Meanwhile, these are some cute walls over here from Melkor. I mean, look at this. This is definitely going to compete for the smallest base on Earth competition next year. Meanwhile, we're going to have Fëanor. That's some decent Malian knights. And yeah, that's what I was talking about. Melkor's crossbows will just get massacred by the larger numbers of Taro. Taro already has, okay, upgrades are the same for Taro and Melkor on those crossbows, but just the larger numbers from Taro should be able to repel that, as we're gonna see Age of Gates being played by Daud behind the archer range. Going up, that was kind of a Daud gate over there, losing a villager, poor crossbow, that's not the way to exit that. Daud just blocking the other exit, so eventually crossbow had to leave that way. Quite unfortunate. Yeah, Daud would just give up on those stone gates. Good investment, definitely good investment on there. Here we go, more and more knights arriving for Fëanor, so he's gonna get some decent knight numbers up. Thumbring coming up for Taro though, so he's gonna have some very strong crossbows very soon over here. And let's see, second TC up for Melkor. He's gonna try and expand this tiny bit of a base. It's actually the third TC for him, so he's gonna have a decent eco going up for Tadi. Looks like he's playing this with 1 TC. Kinda feels like it. That's a decent amount of knights. Huge amount of knights actually going with the second TC, but could this go up? Now this is gonna be very close. This is definitely gonna be close. Especially if the crossbows arrive from Melkor. Not exactly sure. Actually, Fëanor could try to pick off the villagers, but that is not the fight. That is a horrible fight for Fëanor. I mean, what did he do? He like took 3 volleys of arrows. That's just horrible. That was just a horrible engagement, I feel like, for Fëanor. I mean, look at his knights getting massacred. That was not a great engagement at all by him. I think he could have potentially denied that TC if he wanted to. The only thing that makes this better is that Melkor is gonna get some villager picks over here with his crossbows, so eventually, using the Fëanor's Knights' meat shields, Melkor should be able to get some will picks on Taut, as Taro is gonna go down to 40 villagers, and yeah, that's what he should have been doing. I feel like, yeah, that is what I was thinking as well. So he was just running towards the TC. I could have understood if he went directly for the villagers and get some wheel picks. I could have understood if he went directly for the crossbows to fight, but it was like zooming around over here and then evading crossbows, without crossbows just firing more and more volleys on him. Still, Chase of the Century being played over here, as finally the Mangodai should be able to clean up the knights over there from Fëanor without any trouble. And this will mean that the strike will end for now, but here comes another blob of knights from Fëanor, and there could be some more villager picks there. Tado might actually try to play this without villagers. That's definitely way harder, but absolutely possible. Meanwhile, more crossbows arriving for Melkor, so for the first time today, I feel like Heresy is in a better situation. Especially considering that Taro is using those gold banners as meat shields, going down left and right. Down below 30 wheels is Mr. Taro. Well, there is... At least he has some more population space for his crossbows. That's an advantage of losing all those villagers. Other than that, I don't think that was a good idea, but... Well... That is one way to play this game. Meanwhile, here comes Taro with all those crossbows. Poor knight just gonna get decimated. It's gonna be close. So, let's take a look. 3 TCs so far from Melkor, with Fëanor sitting on 2. Yeah, 2 at this point. And going for the monastery, most likely trying to grab a relic. That will be a possibility for him. Let's see, Mangorais and crossbows coming up for Taro and Doubt now. Taro definitely needs to replenish his villager numbers if he wants to continue later on. Let's see. Now... Okay, that lion is actually dead, so now we can be fine. I feel like Melkor will need to find another wood line for himself very soon. We'll see how that goes for him. He's gonna be on 4 DCs now, but his base is basically completely exposed. So, Melkor had some troubles with walling, having holes on the walls. Well, the advantage of having a completely open base is that you don't have a hole on the wall, because you don't even have any walls, so eventually he's gonna play it without walls. Looks like he's gonna... Where are his crossbows at? Okay, this is gonna be a very close engagement. 33 military for Melkor, 29 for Mr. Taro. So eventually, I am pretty sure that Fëanor and Melkor should be able to repel this attack. This is gonna be really close, and a good micro there, I would say, from Melkor and Fëanor. Yeah, they're just gonna separate the Mangodai from the crossbows, and all the crossbows of Taro getting massacred. Villagers going down. Taro not in a good situation at this point. Definitely not a good situation. Doubt going to Imperial, 100 villagers. This is gonna be elite Mangodai very soon. And here comes the second castle, so he's gonna double his military production very soon. But yet again, still a lot of crossbows there from Melkor, and a huge amount of knights from Fëanor. And I just love Malian knights that will be turned into cavaliers. Yeah, you can argue with that. Indeed, knights are kind of a waste against Mangodai. Well, at least right now doesn't really have huge amounts of Mangodai now. Well, these are some decent numbers, but still, I'm pretty sure that Melkor will be able to protect those knights from the Mangodai for now. But indeed, in the long run, going mass knights against the Mangodai is just not a great idea. He could go for hubs, to be honest. I would love that. Hubs and Gunpowder Smalians is in general very strong, and you get so much pierce armor bonus on your infantry that you can just basically survive a lot of arrow fire. Eventually, I'm not exactly sure what the idea is behind this strike of their Fëanor, because Taro is clearly not making any military over there on those archery ranges, so eventually I feel like destroying that isn't really worth it at this point, especially if he's gonna use... Wait a second, Malians don't have hobs? Gotta check that. And indeed, Malians don't have hobs. Then it would definitely surprise Daut and Taro if they saw Malian hobs. Still, Malian pikes could be quite decent, so that would be one way to go. Indeed, I thought that Malians do have hobs still. I was debated into that one. Yeah, still, Malian pikes is a good mid shield because of the so much archer fire that they can actually absorb. Or they could go even... Could imagine Fëanor going for some mass light cav mid shield as well. That would be one way to go as well. With Farimba, those light cavs can be also quite efficient even with raiding. That would be one way to go. Onager versus Camel. Yeah, Camel could be also... Oh, Farimba heavy camels would be so beautiful to see against all those Mangodai. That would be so great. Meanwhile, strategic houses being destroyed by Fëanor there at the cost of a few knight lives. Those monks, yeah, that's... Monks aren't the most efficient unit against Mangodai, let's say. Elite Mangodai already up for Mr. Daut. He doesn't have Bracer just yet. Okay, now he's gonna go for that one, so he's gonna have it very soon. Fëanor up to Imperial very soon. Melkor already up. Going with the Arbs, so he's gonna have a decent amount of Arbs, and they have a Beast of an Eco as compared to Taro and Daut. So Taro really needs to replenish his villager numbers, and it kind of feels like now Heresy is just playing way different than they did in previous matches. So the previous matches were kind of one-sided, but now definitely Heresy is just really making this a very tough game for Secret, and right now I feel like they are in a winning situation. Monks coming up, that can be good, especially if he manages to convert some of those camels. That would be beautiful. And yeah, indeed, camels being mixed in for Fëanor, so we should be able to see... looks like he's gonna go for more knights, so I'm not exactly sure. We see some camels, but it looks like he's just gonna continue with more knights. So, I just don't know what's going on. I mean, weren't the camels misclicks? He's just going full knights. Why would he have like 3 camels there? That doesn't really make that much sense. And yeah, right now, Taro with just 5 military, he can't really have anything to protect himself with, facing a huge military against him with a total army of 80 for Heresy. I just don't know. Those Arbs could get inside over there, that would be disaster for Taro. I hear conversions left and right, traps going up for Melkor. Melkor needs to get his Arbs over here though. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. He needs those Arbs to protect the trebuchets, because look at the traps die to the Mangodai over there. And the traps coming up for Daut as well, so this is gonna be interesting. He needs to repair that castle, but he might lose villagers to this one. He might lose quite a number of villagers, and Daut could take this castle down. I feel like Cavalier coming up for Fëanor. And, oh, this could be disaster for Daut though. This could be disaster if all those Cavaliers get inside. That would be a horrible, horrible issue. Now, Fëanor doesn't have a castle so far Imba won't come that fast. Those Arbs doing a beautiful job eventually. Melkor gonna lose his castle on the hilltop. It's tough to judge. Taro was still behind Nico, but he's catching up in villager numbers. It doesn't look like Fëanor is gonna go in right now. He might actually wait until Cavalier hits for him, and then running. Okay, here comes Farimba. Oh, when Farimba Cavaliers hit, it's just gonna be almost impossible for Daut to stop, I feel like. So, if he can't block the entrance of this Cavalier over there, it's gonna be almost impossible. He's gonna run in with all those Cavaliers. Yeah, this is exactly what we're seeing. Farimba gonna hit with Iron Casting, and they'll just decimate everything. I think Fëanor needs to go directly to the eco. Go for the villagers. Those Cavaliers are so strong They can just pick off villagers left and right so fast. Doubt will have to garrison all his villagers inside the castles, the TCs. Those could be some lost villagers over there as well. And yeah, it's just an insane amount of cavaliers, and they can just destroy everything with Farimba. Absolutely beautiful. Meanwhile, it looks like Taro has stabilized, but still he's just at 80 villagers, and Doubt will lose villagers very, very soon. Meanwhile, the eco of Makor and Fëanor are harassed. I feel like Heresy could take this one. I definitely feel like Heresy could take this one. Eventually, there's gonna be a lot of dead villagers over there as well. And let's see, more and more cavaliers arriving, but Doubt will just call the GG, understanding that this is gonna be a huge amount of cavaliers inside his base. So yeah, I'm not actually saying it's a bad idea. So like I said, Knights and Cavaliers aren't a great idea against Mangodai, but for that, Doubt needs Mangodai numbers, but he didn't really have that huge Mangodai numbers, so eventually Fëanor could actually just afford to overwhelm him with his own Cavaliers, which basically just got him inside his base. And yeah, that's exactly what would have happened. Fëanor going in with those almost 20 attack on those Cavaliers is just basic decimating all the villagers. Fëanor could have actually afforded, yeah, look at that, Fëanor sitting on 1000 gold and almost 2k food. That's just insane. So he's not producing any more units. He could actually afford quite a huge number of cavaliers still. Interesting thing to see is that Taro actually tried to stonewall around Fëanor over here, trying to secure some more map control, but that wasn't successful either. So eventually Heresy will finally take a victory over Secret. That was quite convincing though. So I definitely think that Heresy played great in this match.